25 away from 9. This has been an issue for a long time now. Staff at Johannesburg's Maxeke Hospital are getting to work late for something that should be no problem in the world at all. It's a lack of parking. Well, let's bring into the conversation the man who's raised the issue, DA member of the Gauteng legislature, Mr. Jack Bloom. Jack, good morning to you. It's been an issue for a while now, but it's not just for the staff getting to work late. Of course, that then holds up patients who have to try and get to their appointments on time as well. Ordinarily, smaller hospitals, not such a big issue, but it is a massive property. So just how bad is this parking problem?
Well, it seems to have got worse this week for some time, for some reason. I was phoned by the husband of a radiologist, and he said, she normally gets there, early to start at 7:30, and by 8:30, she hadn't even got parking yet. And of course, if she starts late, treatment starts late. But it's actually a nightmare for everybody. It's staff who spend at least an hour every day trying to find parking. It's not an inconvenience. It's actually affecting service delivery. And for patients, you're elderly, you're sick, and you might have to park far away and walk a long distance. And then there's long queues, and it's winter. So, I really think that a better arrangement could have been done. And this has been going on for some time, honestly.
It has been for a very long time as well, because the issue as well, one could suggest, Jack, is this could become a safety issue as well. If staff members are having to walk around at night, maybe they found a parking on the other side of the hospital, that can become a safety issue as well at night, isn't it? We've got to make sure we get on top of this. So what do we know about the safety concerns?
Well, I know that staff are complaining about their cars getting stolen. Now, if you're a hard-working nurse or a doctor or any other medical staff and you have to worry about your car getting stolen, or you come back at the end of a hard day and then you find your car is stolen, it's devastating. And this has been raised time and time again with hospital management, and it's still not effective. Of course, we've seen other thefts at the hospital. It's not just cars. We've seen copper pipes, and the reason the casualty department couldn't open on time is because there was damage and vandalism of machinery there. So I really think that there needs to be strong intervention. The promise is that in June and July this year, they were going to put in, quote, temporary parking, and then they were going to add, quote, additional parking between July and November. But from what people are telling me, they phone me all the time. I mean, patients say, they came for an appointment and they nearly missed it, or they arrived late. It's as I said, it's not simply an inconvenience. It's actually having real effects on treatment.
It is, and if you ever try to get a booking in a public hospital the size of Maxeke, you can know that if you miss that appointment, it could be months before you get back to where you were supposed to be. But where do we go from here, though? Because you mentioned, Jack, that there's plans about plans, talks of talks, if I can go that far. But in the end, we need to see something happening on the ground. Who do you pressure? Who do you go after today to try and get something done for the staff and the patients? Who do we chase?
Well, I'm a member of the Gauteng legislature, so obviously I put responsibility to the Gauteng MEC for Health and also hospital management. So I've raised this several times in the Gauteng legislature. But in fact, the Gauteng provincial government is so incompetent, really, that they've outsourced the repair of this hospital to the National Health Department. That's how bad things are. And you're not even dealing with just the Gauteng Health Department. You're dealing with another dysfunctional department called the Gauteng Department of Infrastructure Development. And now we've got a third player, the National Health Department. I really think if they got their act together, this hospital could have been substantially repaired, the parking could have been fixed, and this hospital could make progress on this terrible backlog. The real victims here are patients. The backlogs are terrible. And for cancer patients, it's life-threatening. If you come for your operation for a heart operation, the short list is a bit shorter, it's a time thing. But for a hip operation, you could wait 2 or 3 years. And imagine if you miss your hip operation, or the doctors can't do it because it's not just parking, it's laundry services. It's just so many things that go wrong at our hospitals that, I think that we've heard so many times that the department's going to be turned around and fixed, and new management. It's time something actually was done to really fix the very deep-rooted problems there.
And just before I say goodbye to you, Jack, as well, it's not just the issues at this hospital, of course, severe, but just issues with Gauteng Health at the moment as well. New HOD in place, engagements there, what are they looking like?
Well, she appeared at our health committee last week, and she basically said that the budget isn't sufficient and the spending is out of control, and it wasn't. It was a tough message, But I mean, it just says to me that you have to put the best management in place, and whatever budget you've got, you've got to make best use of. There's massive corruption still. I mean, part of the reason why Maxeke is not fixed is because there was a corruption scandal and officials were suspended. I mean, this has got to stop. We must put the right people in the right jobs, and they must do their jobs so that we provide a decent health service for everyone in Gauteng.
I'm going to keep an eye on the progress of what really should not be a problem at our hospital, but it is. It's the parking problem, is a DA member of the Gauteng legislature, Jack Bloom. Of course, we'll follow up as well with Gauteng Health and hospital management to try and find out what we can do. The parking, a complete nightmare for staff and also patients. Worryingly, as Jack Bloom says, it's not just an inconvenience, it's now affecting service delivery.